Yeah. Sounds so good, wouldn't you agree?
Turn that shit up.
Shot for you, shot for me.
Only the real can relate.
Mike Fuego.
House of Fire.
Amazing Most. It's privy. This for that part of me that was styled by poverty. The hood in my veins now was clogging my arteries. It gave me vision, it also made it hard to see. I seen the artistry within the armed robbery. We got our 3-bedroom from a lottery, where you could catch a leg wound trying to find your key. You need that extra leg room when you find the V. Richer in the fansuits is what we bout to be. Brick sales, now every lobby got fish scales. Broke women who only hobby was rich males. You do 1 3 to 9, you take a big L. Then they throw that in your face, now how that shit smell. I'm coming home better than I used to be. I know the man in the mirror gon' shoot for me. I don't really trust niggas, truthfully. It's the privy, no motherfucking juice for me. I played them project games. Before Bloods and Crips, we had project gangs. They tried to jump me after school, but my projects came. Somebody ate your food, you had to digest pain. Damn. We came a long way from cane dealing. The hallways with the paint peeling. I swear to God, I must have seen 1 billion, but never even saved 1 million. The roof gone, we could change ceilings. The good guys, they the same villains. I woke up, I had a strange feeling. Bitch, I'm feeling like Dame feeling. I'ma be my own boss, any cause. Fat boy, 10 chains, no shirt. Ricky Ross putting on for my city. Now it's time they get me off. Been too long in this city, where the fuck I'm getting lost? You from where I'm from? You done what I done? You love Noriega, you was eating on the run. Police hit the door, they just beat it like a drum. It took me out that zone, that weekend wasn't fun. Now I just laugh when I'm looking back. I used to have to crash where I cooked the crack. I'm on the stage with a crooked hat, feeling like Big when he said, probably in a city I ain't never been.
Peace to the gods and earths and all the positive people in the universe. My name is Anthony GMATH WOMBLE, and you're now listening to my audio diary, styled by Poverty, the Artcast, brought to you by the good people of the Vandal Hour and S.STREET Media. Make sure you check us out on our YouTube channel at S.STREET Media. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This episode is called Their Eyes Were Watching God. Their eyes were watching God. Our best successes often come after our greatest disappointments. And that was a quote by Henry Ward Beecher, 1813 to 1887. He's an American minister. I seen that on Instagram on a friend of my page, and I think that was just so deep because I'm not going to lie to you. Some of my greatest successes came right after me going through something very disappointing. You know, the first time I got an office, I was technically homeless for a little while. You know what I mean? True story. So, you know, a person, when I was going through this, a person had asked me, did I ever think about having an office to work out of? I wasn't thinking about that type of thing, and she was. And during my little stint of living here and there, she helped me get me and my business partner Sosa and my other business partner Chris. We all came together and got our first office. So yes, sometimes something disappointing may happen, but a successful situation is right behind the corner. You know, and I'm a living example of that. Even when it comes to my prison situation, I went to prison for a certain amount of time, came home, changed my life, and it has been very successful. I think I have been very successful. Not, you know, I'm not a millionaire or nothing like that, but I definitely was in a disappointing situation being in prison. So it is true. You can sometimes our best successes often come after our greatest disappointments. I agree with that quote 100%. I found that on Instagram. A friend of mine had on their page. I thought it was a dope quote. You know, I don't like to start Style by Poverty the same in no form or fashion. I like to come up with different ideas, different ways to present the show, to present my ideas, to present my world. So I like to take you through different chambers all the time. Now, I've been getting a lot of dope feedback, man, from everyone that has been watching this show and supporting. This show is almost at 1,000 views. Thank you to everyone who has been watching. Shout out to everybody across the world that has been supporting. We are getting a lot of momentum behind the show. So thank you to everyone who has been supporting. But I've been getting a lot of feedback. If you go to our last episode, my man Dr. Kelly spoke on, commented. My man Jay Diddy commented. My man Diogenes commented. Thank you all for actually watching the show and paying attention. I've been getting feedback from people saying that they like the joke that I said in the beginning. So thank you all to everyone who's been supporting the show, man. I just wanted to talk about some of the people who's been supporting and actually going out of their way, making phone calls, and commenting on our YouTube channel. So thank y'all for doing that. Again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our S.STREET Media YouTube channel. Now, this episode is called Their Eyes Were Watching God. So let me tell y'all about my weekend this weekend. On Sunday, I went to go see my cousin who is locked up north. And he has a lot of time. I'm not going to go through the specifics of his case, but he has a lot of time, but we're very hopeful that he is more than likely going to beat his case within a couple of years. So, it's not like, his lights is out. He has appeals in and everything. So I went to go to Clinton this Sunday. So let me say this. It was the first time that I ever went up north to see someone in prison up north. It was an interesting, journey. We ordered off of, he sent me a number of a van service that is door to door, which was dope. I was expecting to go through the hassles of having to go to 42nd Street and shit like that. That's what I've heard from people who came to see me. So I thought it was going to be a real hassle. I thought it was going to be some crazy shit. But no, they actually came to not to my crib. I was in Williamsburg at the time, so I gave a Williamsburg address. So they came to the address on time, gave me a call before. Shout out to that service that we use. It was $110 to go to Clinton, which is not bad. It's not cheap either, but it wasn't that bad. Let me say this. My cousin, I haven't seen in a long time. For the past 10 years, I was actually looking for my cousin. Me and my sister and my cousin, was actually talking about it quite a few times, trying to figure out what had happened to him. We didn't know. You know, we thought, some people thought on the bad terms, but we didn't know what happened to him. Come to find out, he was in prison for about 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. He got convicted in 2016, though. So, what the worst that we was thinking, it wasn't that. But still, he has a lot of time. So he is my little cousin. We grew up together. He was like my sidekick when we was young. Not to say it disrespectfully, but he's like 2 years behind me. Me and him and my other cousin was really, really, really tight. So, you know, we grew up together. And when we got older, he went his way, I went my way, my other cousin went his way, you know, so we kind of lost touch with each other. Every once in a blue moon, I would see him. He'd come through, motorcycles and shit like that, jewelry. He was always doing whatever he was doing in his world, you know what I mean? But he always came back, checked me, checked the fam and shit like that. So, you know, finding my cousin years later and him being in this situation, it kind of like threw me off. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really wanted to know what had happened to him, and to find out this way, this is what happened, was crazy. So, you know, automatically after finding him, I planned on going to see him. I speak to him on a regular basis, weekly. So automatically I said, I'm coming to see you. So I threw the bat signal up. A couple of people reacted to the bat signal. Shout out to everyone who reacted. You know, Mo, M. Dot, my cousin Justice. So, but wind up, just me and Justice went. M. Dot gave me bread to give to him. So, you know, we maneuvered. Got it. So we set up the situation. Went to go see him. Let me just say this: the ride wasn't that drooling. We left about 2:33. Got there about 9:30ish, somewhere around there. But when we get there, and you know, I had to go buy a lock for the locker. You know, you can't smoke prior to going there because I was told that they might not let you in if you smoke. So I had to stop smoking at a certain time, which I did. I changed my shirt and everything. You know, I alcoholed my hand, kept clean my hands, kept cleaning my hands. So I wanted to make sure that I wouldn't go through no situation when I went up there. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, up north, prison traumatized me. So I'm the person who don't really want to go up into a prison again. But this is my cousin, so I'm going to see my cousin, you know? So I get there, me and my cousin get there, and shit, Justice get there. And you know, the whole time we was going up there, and me and my cousin was vibing. Me and him haven't seen each other like 4 years, as I said in a prior episode. So me and him was just vibing, man, about life, you know what I mean? Just vibing. So we get there, come to find out, my ID and his ID was expired. And when I say expired, my shit just expired on if my birthday was on Monday, we went to go see him Sunday. So 5-6 days, my shit expired. And these dudes was really not trying to let us in. His was expired a month prior, because his birthday was a month prior. So less than a month or less, and they was really giving us a hard time. I'm not gonna say like being real assholes, but they was giving us a kind of a hard time. They told us the only way that we could get in was to have our birth certificate sent to us, whether through a picture, print that out and bring that back. My cousin Justice wasn't able to do that. Called my mom's. She took a picture, wasn't the greatest picture either, I might say. Sent me the picture. And what's crazy is they sent us to Staples to print out the joint. First they sent us across the street to the pharmacy. The pharmacy didn't do that. So we came back. They said, try Staples. Let me say this, Staples is miles away, basically in another town. But they didn't tell us that. They made it like it was just like up the block. So when we leave the jail to go to get these papers, a lady is walking in. She's like, what's going why you leaving so early? And we's like, nah, we got to go to Staples. Do you know where this is at? And she's like, that's the next town away. That's not like up the block. That's the next town away. It's a long way. So we said, well, we got to go because we trying to get the, my birth certificate. So when we commenced to walking, while we were walking, which was, we had walked a long period at that time, not that long, maybe 15, 20 minutes. And a lady pulled over and was like, where you going? And we's like, yo, who's this lady pulling over? She was like, get in. Where you going? We's like, we going to Staples. She's like, get in. So I'm not gonna lie to you, I was kind of thrown aback about by her act. But we got in. She drove us to Staples. Come to find out, Staples was maybe, if we was walking, it would have been a 2-hour walk. Let me just say that. And drove us back also. Great conversation. Dope older lady. A dope older lady, respectfully. And so she goes on a visit with us also. They let me in. I only have an hour to talk to my cousin, so we go over, conversation real quick. I haven't seen him in years, so we building and shit like that. It's so much that you could talk about within an hour. So we're going through different things, family-wise, life-wise, jail, what's going on in jail, kind of the stuff that he was into before coming to prison, but this is all in a compacted into 1 hour. So I had to be out the jail by 2:00. Come to find out, I leave the visiting floor at 2:03. I was actually late, but my cousin had the van waiting for me, and the van was there when I got there. And that's kind of how the visit went. But I just wanted to say this, man. The police try to discourage you from seeing your family. The police, knowing that Staples was that far, they knew if we had to walk that, it would have been a 3-4 hour situation. So we wasn't going to see my cousin if we had to walk to Staples. They didn't tell us to drive there or anything. They're not trying to really help you. They're trying to discourage you from coming to see your family. And I want to say that, man, their eyes were watching guard. So when we was on this visit, they was really, on us. My cousin is an important person in the street life and in jail life. So they was watching us. He told me like whenever he has a visit, the dogs and all this stuff, they kind of harass him kind of. So that's why I named the episode "Their Eyes Were Watching God." For those that may not know, "Their Eyes Were Watching God" is a book by Nora Zale Hurston. Nora Zale Hurston. Nora Zale Hurston was a author, filmmaker, and anthropologist. She was a part of the Harlem Renaissance, if you don't know. Nora Zale Hurston book, "Their Eyes Are Watching God," is a great book. I'm not going to even say it's a great black book. It's a great piece of American literature. It's a great story. I don't even want to give no insight into the story. I'm gonna say this. It's a love story, and it's one of my favorite books. And so I wanted to name this joint, "Their Eyes Are Watching God," because being on that visit and being in amongst these correction officers, they looking at us like these are people from up north. They have a opinion about city people. They look at us a certain way. You know what I mean? So, we went to go leave money on my cousin books. sidebar. We went to go leave money on my cousin books, and they said we couldn't leave the money on his books. That we had to use something called JPay. If you have a person who's incarcerated, make sure you understand that the system now that they under is called JPay. You can't physically get them money no more. You gotta put it into some like computer account. You gotta send it through like cash apps and the PayPals and stuff like that. So that's for people who may have a person in prison that they plan on seeing. I want to say, the word of today is recidivism. Speaking about my cousin, more than likely it wasn't his first time being in prison. And I went to prison, more than once. So, that is called recidivism. Recidivism is when you go to jail, they let you out, and then you come back. The recidivism rate is crazy when it comes to people who's been in prison, especially for black people. The recidivism rate in our community is high. They don't have, in our communities, there was a time, and I believe they still don't have, but they don't have, there was a time where they didn't have a lot of programs. They're not helping you get jobs. They're letting you out of prison and into a world unprepared. So, people are going home doing crime again because they haven't changed the criminal mind. They need to retrain the trained mind. You know what I mean? Because people who come from our neighborhoods, we are trained to think a certain way. So recidivism is high in our community. But the reason why I'm saying this for this episode, which is actually my 7th episode, I don't say the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and shit like that, but this is the 7th episode. So their eyes are watching God. This is the 7th episode. So I wanted to have some relation to God. And you're watching me. You know what I mean? My audience is watching me, and I'm God. So their eyes were watching God. It goes into many different things. But back to recidivism. On September 28th, it makes 11 years that I haven't been in prison. It's been 11 years. I've been home for 11 years. On September 28th, it makes 11 years that I haven't been in prison, man, and I'm very proud of myself. Sometimes I don't see where I'm at. Sometimes I'm kind of blind to my successes. I don't see them. My mind is kind of trained that way, But 11 years ago, I was released from prison with nothing. I had nothing except for ambition, ideas, and a plan. So I haven't been incarcerated. Wait, let me just say this. I was arrested back in December. Nothing major, but I was arrested. I was let go in 2 days. The case was dismissed. Not something intentional that I did, but I was caught up in something real quick. But so yeah. On September, I haven't been in prison. I haven't caught a new bid, a new case. The only thing that I ever caught since I've been home in these 11 years is a jaywalking ticket. Yes, I caught a jaywalking ticket leaving DTF radio, which is crazy. But, it makes on September 28th, it makes 11 years that I've been home. So I'm very proud of myself, man. And anybody who is, coming home, who came home from prison recently, understand that it is not easy getting your life back in order. It is a process. It is complex. It's tedious. It's hard. It is a fight. But it's a fight worth fighting. And I'm going to say that from personal experience, man. I'm going to say that from personal experience. So, yeah, shout out to myself for making 11 years of not going back to prison, man. Again, their eyes were watching God, man. And, you know, my son, when I came home from prison, was watching me. And I couldn't show him anything less. I couldn't go back to what I was doing before. I knew that he was watching me, the moves I was making. And a lot of times we influence our kids. And I didn't want to be that type of influence. I knew he would be, if I was sitting on that bench selling anything, he'd be coming out the building watching me and saying, you know, this is what pops do. And then, you know, I couldn't have that. That was kind of like my fear. So I couldn't have that happen. So, you know, shout out to myself for making 11 years without going back to prison. On another subject, man, I want to read some statistics to y'all, man. And y'all let me know how you feel in the comments and shit like that about these statistics. But here's a statistic. Homelessness. Since COVID, 1 in 5 New Yorkers living in poverty, and 1 in 4 New Yorkers paying more than half their income in rent. Since the pandemic, an estimated 1 in 7 New Yorkers have lost their job, and more than 50,000 people are at risk of eviction. And this is according to the Bowery Mission. Let me read these statistics first, and then we're going to discuss them. But I want to read some of these statistics that I have. According to the U.S. Bureau of Justice statistics, in 2018, black males accounted for 34% of the total male prison population. White males accounted for 29%, and Hispanic males 24%. White females comprise of 47% of the prison population in comparison to black females who accounted for 18% of the female population. Here's another one, very interesting one. Let me make sure. Here's another very interesting one. According to ABC News, blacks account for nearly half of all of NYC arrests 6 years after the end of stop and frisk. According to NYP data, this 2006 to 2019, black people were arrested 48%, Hispanic 34%, white 12%, Asian 4%. This is in 2006. And so listen to these disparities in arrest. And minorities are targeted by uneven. So let me just say this. In 2019, 48% of black people are arrested, Hispanic 34%, white people 11%, Asian 6%. This is after stop and frisk has happened. After. If you go through the census data, the total population, white people 40% of the population, Hispanic 29%, black people 24%, and Asian 14%. The reason why I'm reading these numbers, and we're gonna start with that. And I have something else, but we're gonna start with the three that I just read. Let's start with the arrest. So prior to the stop and frisk situation, we was being arrested at a much higher rate than any other race. And if you combine the black and Hispanic, which is the same, it's almost like 70. This is during the 2006 mostly. 70+%, 80% was us being arrested. You know what I mean? And during this pandemic, and that's what it was in the numbers I was reading, during the pandemic, we are still the highest one arrested during during the pandemic time. Minorities are targeted by uneven-handed law enforcement. And this is why that's why you hear people talking about reform, revision, and defunding the police, which I don't agree with. But this is why people are saying this. When you look at these numbers, it is institutional racism. Institutional. There are more white people. This is the reason why I read these numbers. There are more white people than there are black people, but we are being arrested at a higher rate. The numbers is crazy. Like that. That's crazy. And then let's go to the prison population, which was the second statistic that I read. In the second, let me just say this: the data about the arrest comes from ABC News. With the prison population, with black males being a majority, and then when you put Hispanic together, that makes 60 to 70% again. But if you go to the number on the census, white people comprise. There are more white people than there are black people in New York City. So these numbers, it just shows you like an institutional racism and bias. Now, when we go to the poverty, 1 in 5, when there were these homeless, like I said, 1 in 5 New Yorkers living in poverty, and 1 in 4 New Yorkers paying more than half their income in rent since the pandemic. And an estimated 1 in 4 New Yorkers have lost their job, and more than 50,000 people are at risk of eviction. And let me say this, a lot of these numbers are prior to the pandemic. The numbers just went higher, and this is what's crazy, man, because I ride the train, man. The homeless population has increased. If you ride the train, you know what I'm talking about. It's like the subway system is their system. After a certain time, the subway system is their system. And police, and I be on the train, the police just look at them. But they'll wake you up and write you a ticket for being asleep, though. But there's a homeless person with their whole life in the two-seaters, sleep and everything, and they won't do nothing. But they'll come to a person who may have passed out from sleep and harass them. These statistics, I got one more statistic too. According to the Gothamist, 75.9% for black students, I'm not gonna go into that. It's about the school. Let's do the shooting one. I'm gonna do the shooting statistic. About 505 people were shot in New York City through May 9th, the highest year to date number in a decade. Murders in New York are at 146 this year, up from 104 over the same period in 2019, and 115 in 2020. The tallies remain far below the peak levels of the 1980s and 1990s, when the city recorded more than 2,000 killings at the time. Now, that goes back to if you watched one of the episodes that I spoke about, the murders, it's high for now. For the people who, if you haven't, in these past decades, you didn't really see this type of thing happening. But in the 80s and 90s, it was like double, pardon self. It was like quadruple, murders. And it all affects, and what I'm saying in saying these statistics is, it all affects our communities. These statistics, and I know I said a lot of numbers and shit, I didn't just want to be talking, out my ass. I wanted to come with real data, real numbers. Because our communities are under attack. Our communities are under attack. The black community, because I'm pro all communities, but I'm black. So our communities, I'm saying myself, are under attack, whether it be through homelessness, whether it be through the prison system, whether it be through the judicial system, whether it be through the educational system. We are under attack. I want to talk about some of the people that are trying to fix a lot of these problems, because when you look at these problems, you want to know who's doing something to circumvent these problems. You know what I mean? Who are the people in our communities that are trying to help the people of our communities? You know what I mean? Because when you look at these numbers, you know, it looks like our communities are in shambles. It looks like our communities are not cared about. You know, and you know, I come from this community, you know, and a lot of these resources that we need to fix these communities, we don't have. And there's nobody championing. I'm saying that, I might be saying that wrong, my bad. But there's nobody who's really fighting for us. There are, because I know some of these people personally. But if you're not aware of these people, it seems like there isn't. And the ones that are on the front lines, on the commercial front lines, the people that are on the commercial front lines, these people are put there by the all-seeing eye, whoever that is. You know, the people that be. But they are not our champions. You know? So I've been lucky to meet some of our champions, some of the people that speak for our communities, some of the people that's out there on the front lines giving back. And a lot of them come from similar circumstances. That's why, you know, that's what Style by Poverty is about. I want to highlight these people. Some of them are not famous. Some of them don't have gold albums. Some of them are ghosts in the Matrix. But I want to highlight them, man, because when you look at these statistics, it seems like we're losing, and then there's nobody fighting that war. Here at S.STREET Media, I had the chance of meeting two of the people that are actually out there fighting for us. One of them was my son, the MC, former convict activist. And the other one I met was Shanduke L. Mcfadder, who is the founder and CEO of GMATH. And he's also a political candidate for an office in Brooklyn also. My son, you know, who was part of Violator, you can't handle the truth, that dude. He is on the front lines right now. My son is out there, man, whether it's fighting for prison reform, whether it's fighting for the injustices that's happening to us, like the George Floyds and the many other people that were killed by the police. He is on the front lines, and he was a person who did time. He did time. He went up north. You know what I mean? He had a promising career before going to prison. He still has a promising career. I don't want to disrespect the guard. He's a dope MC, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And he has something to say, so he's even doper because of that. You know? But my son is really on them front lines, man. And we had the chance of interviewing him here at S.STREET Media. We had Media Day here. Shout out to Jenna Hirsch who put that together. She works with my son in a lot of different aspects. And he came to the office and he told his story. And he also talked about a lot of things that he's doing in our communities, man. He's very humble, but he's also a general. He's very militant. You know what I mean? And you know, music wise, they don't want a person like that saying too much. They don't want a person like that being successful because that's not the agenda that they're pushing. They're pushing another agenda. So my song is not going to be the glittering gold type of artist. He's a person that's out there talking about real situations, real things. So you got to look for his music. They don't put him on a pedestal. We should, but, you know, in the world of commercialism, the commercial world, that other world, they don't put him on a pedestal. The other person I spoke about was Shanduke L. Mcfadder. As I said, he's the CEO of GMATH. GMATH stands for Gangsters Making Astronomical Changes in the Community, I believe, something like that. I had the pleasure of meeting him. He came to, I believe it was Debonair's show. His show is, pardon me for not knowing, that's one I'm trying to keep notes because my mom said, you can't be forgetting everything. You can't be forgetting everything. I know. The name of his show was The Plugged In Radio Show. Pardon me. Shout out to Debonair, man. If you don't know who Debonair is doing a lot of big things right now. He's in some type of show with Spliff Star. He has a song with P. He performs at all of our events. His stage show is going to another level, man. I've been working with the guard for like 7 to 8 years, man, and he is putting in a lot of work. So shout out to him, man, and all his endeavors. But he has Shanduke on, and so I met Shanduke there. Shanduke brother name is Banger. And he was killed in that situation with Troy Ave and all that. I don't want to go into that negative stuff, but yeah, man, he's a gang member who has changed his life. He's in the community, really in the community, meaning that if somebody gets shot, he goes to the victim and he goes to the person who might have shot him, allegedly. He is a person who deals with conflict resolution in the most realist way. And he's not really being funded by the government. A lot of that stuff that he's doing is out of his pocket or people that believe in what he's doing and helping him in his cause. I had the chance to go to his office on Myrtle Ave, and it's dope, man. He's doing a lot of things for the kids. He have a record studio there for the kids. We was talking about putting a podcast station there for the kids, but he's doing a lot of stuff for the community, man. And I see him all the time. He's working with different. There's something called Life Camp, I think. If I'm not mistaken, there's something called Life Camp. Matter of fact, I have it in my notes. He's working with something called Life Camp Inc. also, which is a frontline gun violence prevention and intervention team making our communities safer. They're located in Queens. So these people like Shanduke Mcfadder and Life Camp Inc., these are people who's really inside the community dealing with gun violence on a first-hand basis. They're not armchair gangsters, but they are out there on the front lines. They are really putting in the work. And these people are talking to the people who are actually committing these crimes and trying to give them options, trying to give them ways to solve problems outside of gun violence. So I respect that. Shanduke also is running for a political office in Brooklyn. And he's really out there, man. He's really out there. I see him on the news all the time. And like something happened recently, and they was out there, and he's really they're working to change our communities. They are out there trying. You know, you heard the statistics I was reading about the gun violence. You know, about the shootings. These are the people who are they're doing what the police are not doing. The police arrest a lot of people, but the police are not out there trying to solve the why. Not just arresting people, but why are these kids out there committing these crimes? There's a why. There's a cause and effect. So the Shan Dukes, the Mysons, the Life Camp Inc., these are people who are out there really putting in that work, trying to answer the why. Another person who I'm always seeing doing a lot of work with the community is Samika D Mallory. She's a social justice leader and author. I don't want to mess this up, but I believe she was incarcerated before. Not to say that negatively, I'm saying that in a positive way, because she is a queen that is out there really fighting for us. I seen her, you know, I don't want to mistake because I see her everywhere, but I believe one of the things that she was connected to was the MDC situation when the prisoners had no electricity or heat in the MDC building downtown Brooklyn, and they was out there protesting. She was one of the people that was behind the protest. I think. I hope I didn't mess that up. But yeah, Tamika is a person who is out there really looking for making, she's not looking, she's a person that's out there working towards social justice issues on all fronts. On all fronts. She is out there, man. Samika D Mallory. All the people that I'm talking about, my son, Shan Duke, L, Mcfadder, Life Camp Inc. Look these people up on Instagram, man. Look these people up. These people follow them, man, because they are really bringing change to our communities. These are real people, man. These are not stars. Well, they're stars in my eyes, but they're not like commercial in the commercial world. They're not stars. These are people who are real, and they are not getting all the media coverage that they supposed to. Another person that I met, and it's crazy how I met this person. It's funny because a lot of these people I've met before, and in their quest in what they're doing. But another person who I met, not in his quest, but I met him, and not in his quest for social change, but I met him doing music. And he performed at Karma Lounge. We had an event at Karma Lounge, and he performs. And his name is Ty Paperwork. You could look him up also on Instagram. He's from Fort Greene. And this dude, he is doing a lot of stuff with the kids. Whether they're having events in Fort Greene Park, he is always doing something for the kids, man. Always, always, always. He has sports activities. If I'm not mistaken, he brought ice skating to Fort Greene. Check me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong on that, but I don't think I'm wrong on that. I think he brought ice skating to Fort Greene. This dude is doing a lot. He's a community leader, a former convict also, and an MC. He did time in the feds, I believe. And right now he is out there, again, another soldier on our front lines of our community. And he's working towards the best part, which is our babies. You know what I mean? I already told you that understanding is symbolic to the child, the black child or the child. And that is the best part. And that's what that is who he's helping. He is helping our children. So I gotta commend like all these people, man. You know what I mean? Because when I read these statistics, man, it kind of throw me off, man, because I'm like, you know, what are we doing to help change our community? I'm a person who's very pro-community. I'm very pro-community. And I done did stuff like basketball stuff. We done did turkey give backs. I have a lot of young kids intern at S.STREET Media. Again, make sure you check us out on YouTube at S.STREET Media. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, I mentor a lot of kids, a lot of young people. I'm not gonna say I'm not saying kids, young adults. I mentor a lot of young adults. I have an intern now, a new intern. I think her name, I don't want to mess up her name. I think it's Janaea, something like that, Janaea. And she just started with us. My employee now, Eric, was an intern, former intern. We had a person named Zion. And I had a few young dudes from Williamsburg that has interned for me. Let me just say this. If you are 21 and under, I'm looking for an intern all the time. I'm looking for younger people who are into media or want to get into media. I will help them. Just hit up my, you could comment on the YouTube page or you could DM me, call me or whatever. If you have my number, hit me up. I'm always looking to work with young adults, young people who are creative and business minded. So hit me up if you're interested in working. I don't really speak about what's going on in the news. I'm not a person who watches the news. If you follow Style by Poverty, I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news. I don't listen to the radio. None of that stuff. I'm in my own world, and that's what I let in my world, what I want to let into my world. You got to be careful of the energy that you let into your circumference. But there's a situation that I got to speak about. You might have heard about it. I don't got too much stuff to say about it, but I do gotta speak about it though. The Haitian refugees thing is blowing mine right now. And I don't, I'm not Malcolm X, I'm not Martin Luther King, man. I'm mathematics, man. So I'm one of y'all, and I don't like to comment on what's going on in the world because it's so much dynamics behind it, and it's just so much. It's so much of this shit happening that to mention it all the time, you will be consumed by it. And what you are, what you think. You are what you think. So I don't like to put that energy out. But I'm going to read something right now. What's going on right now in Texas with the Haitian immigrants? Recently, thousands of Haitian immigrants arrived to the Texas border in search of refuge. In the past few months, the police of Haiti faced countless turmoil. The Haitian president was assassinated. There was, 7.2 magnitude earthquake, and Haitians are still combating the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition to political instability, starvation, housing insecurity, and more. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of it because it's a political side, so I'm not going to take that. I just wanted to say what the situation was for those that might not know. Now, the reason why I'm speaking about this, though, The reason why I'm speaking about this, though, is there is video, pictures on Instagram and social media of the police on horses with whips, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. There's Haitians running out of water, being whipped and being, I'm going to say attacked by the police. I guess the police are protecting the border of Texas. The pictures was alarming. The pictures was startling. The pictures was hurtful. The reason why I say that is it looked like it was the 1800s and not 2021. The pictures looked like it was during the times of slavery. It looked like something out of a Western movie. It looked like some shit out of the Django. I shouldn't be seeing no shit like this in 2021. Not with the Red Crosses, the Blue Shields, or whatever, the Red Crosses, and all these, groups that are out there fighting for goddamn dog rights. They're fighting for everything but shit like this, though. That shit blows mine. Them pictures really threw me out of whack. You know? I don't really want to keep going and dwelling on this stuff, and make this a negative episode, but I just wanted to speak about that Haitian situation at the Texas border, man. I really think that someone wants us to see this, to plant that seed in our psyche. Why does he fear the devil now that he's a grown man? That type of thing. Let's get on some positive stuff, man. Let's get on some positive things, man. I just had to say that, though. Now, check this out, man. For the past few weeks, I've been talking about what's your favorite crime movie? Well, I want to start this new one. What's your favorite hood show? What is your favorite hood show? Like, it could be The Wire, it could be Good Times, it could be The Jeffersons, it could be Sanford and Son, the PJs, South Central. There's a lot of dope hood television shows. I'm going to say, for me, I'm a fan of Good Times, if you haven't noticed. Look at the goddamn flyer for Styled by Poverty. I'm a fan of Good Times. I'm also a fan of the PJs and The Wire also. But Good Times resonate with me because JJ was an artist living in the projects in a projects in Chicago. And he was a starving artist trying to make it. But he was living through the ills of the ghettos. You know what I mean? And his family, when you watch every episode, you thought that the family was going to make it out of the projects. At least that's what it felt like. Whether it be some big money scheme, whether it be through lottery, whether it be through JJ finally getting on. You thought they was going to make it out the project. And there's certain episodes, especially during the later episodes, that even when they made it, something negative happened. Even when they made it, the end of the episode never ended with a happy ending, which is crazy. Shout out to Norman Lear. Norman Lear is one of my favorite writers. He wrote The Jeffersons. He wrote Good Times. He wrote Sanford and Son. He wrote All in the Family. He wrote Maud. You know, he's a famous writer. That all those worlds in different places, whether it be California, New York, Chicago, Queens, Harlem. He. That was his world that he created. But Good Times was a deep one to me. Also, The Wire. You know, The Wire because it took the drug world and made it realistic. It didn't exaggerate it, at least not in the beginning. Well, I didn't watch the last one, so I can't really tell you. But it was it reminded me like of the commercial version of Respect Life. It was written great actors. The storyline was up to par. HBO was behind it. This is during the time of The Sopranos and the hits of HBO, Sex and the City and all that stuff. So The Wire was, it gave you a great insight into the urban world. You heard what I said, the urban world, the ghetto, the hood, not urban. You know what I mean? So I thought that was a great show. A lot of the actors that spawned from that went in to do other things, big things. The actor who played Omar on The Wire just recently passed away over OD. You know, my condolences to him and his family and shit. But yeah, that was written great. The Wire was written great. So let me know what's your favorite hood television show, man. I want to know what hood show you connected with or was emotionally tied to, or you was waiting for that next episode to drop. You know, I know a lot of y'all are stuck on this power shit, you know? But let me hear what's one of your favorite hood shows. If you follow us on Instagram also, they hacked our page. I said that in the beginning of the show, but they hacked our page. We was only at like 2,300 followers anyway. We could get those followers back. We rocking. We don't get y'all can't stop us. Whatever voodoo hex you're trying to throw on us, it's not gonna stop us. S.STREET Media is still taking over this media thing. You know what I mean? But our joint was hacked, so make sure you check out our new Instagram page at @SStreetMedia_radio, I believe. I watch YouTube all the time, and I was listening to music on my YouTube today, and I saw a commercial from Hulu with this black family. I think it's 1972, and it's this black family. It was like a cool commercial. Enough that I didn't skip it. If you understand where I'm coming from, it was cool enough that I didn't skip it, because I usually skip everything, but I didn't skip this. And at the end of the commercial, it said the Wonder Years. They're bringing back the Wonder Years, man. And not with Fred Savage either, man. It's a black version of the Wonder Years. I ran to my cousin's room like, yo, boy, you saw they having the Wonder Years. The Wonder Years is coming back, and it's black people. That's crazy. I definitely want to get Hulu now. You know, I was watching the Wu-Tang stuff on YouTube because I can't afford Hulu. You know, $5 is a lot a month. I don't know what it is, but it's anything over $1 is expensive to me. You know what I mean? But I might get Hulu now. At least get the free month in the beginning, then maybe cut it after the month. And hopefully I could get a couple of episodes of the Wonder Years and the last couple of episodes of Wu-Tang. I don't know. I'm going to try to do it. But yeah, the Wonder Years. If you don't know about the Wonder Years was a dope show from the 80s, I believe the late 80s. And it was just like a television show about childhood. And it starred Fred Savage. I don't know the other character's real name, but I know you had Winnie in it and shit like that. I think you had Paul. I forgot. You had the brother that was just crazy. But it was a dope show. And to see a black version of it, I got to see it. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to comment on that. But I want to see it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to see it, man. I want to see it. So I might check that out, man. Also, man, we had an event last week, Laughing Gas Joint. It was dope. Let me give a shout out to Mookie, man. Mookie is a comedian that did his first stand-up joint at our Laughing Gas events. If you don't know what Laughing Gas is, it's a comedy event that we have around every 2 months. And this dude, Mookie, man, he had these one-liners that was killer. He was killing them with these one-lines, man. He was killing them with these one-lines. And let me just say this, man. He surprised the shit out of me, man. Main part of me. I gotta slow down on this cursing thing, man. But he surprised me, man. He surprised me. He came with the heat, and he killed. He killed that stage, man. So if you don't know about our Laughing Gas events, make sure you come to our Laughing Gas events when we post up. We do them like bi-monthly, so make sure you attend one. Also, we have an event going on this week. It's called the League of Their Own. It's an all-woman event. We have a lot of dope women, people, pardon self. We have a lot of dope women involved. We have speakers, performances, comedians, artists. So if you want to be a part of that, if you want to come out, just make sure you follow S.STREET Media _radio or the 1718 Collective or Get Fed Records. You know what I mean? Check these joints out, man. Follow us, man. We need to get our subscribers up. We need to get our followers up. Also, we have another event coming up, the Make 'Em Suffer Volume 3 Listening Party and Concert Series with Diz the Icon. You don't know who Diz the Icon is? I don't know where y'all been. Y'all must be sleeping under a rock. But we got that coming up. If you want to be involved, I'm going to tell you now, if you're whack, you're not going to be a part of it. I'm not going to lie to you. You're probably going to hear something like, we don't want you to perform. Facts. So, yeah, we're looking for some of the dopest MCs of NYC, New York, tri-state area. If you think you got what it takes, hit me up. We're coming to the end of our show. I had a good night. You know, thank you to everybody who's supporting the show, man. Shout out to all my partners, 1718 Collective, Sosa. Shout out to Rod. Shout out to Jenna Hirsch. Shout out to Wansburg. Shout out to Murray Bertram. Shout out to all my dudes that I met up north and we're now home now. Shout out to my tribe, Mama Love, Easy the God, my sisters. Shout out to everybody who's supporting me, man. Today's mathematics is I have written down a 22nd, but since it's past 12, it's the 23rd. Today's mathematics is wisdom. Wisdom, understanding, all being born to power, refinement. Again, wisdom, understanding, all being born to power, refinement. Wisdom is the ways and actions which one uses to let their knowledge to be known. Wisdom is also symbolic to the black woman. Wisdom is speaking wise words to the wise dumb, or wisdom is also symbolic to water. Our black woman keeps herself 3/4 covered. She's supposed to. Also, the earth is covered by 3/4 water. That is symbolic to the black woman. Power refinement. Power is the truth. Power is the truth, which is square. Refinement is to clean yourself up mentally, or refine yourself from doing, eating the poisonous pig, telling lies, stealing. Refinement is hard to say no. You know what I mean? It's hard to say no. Power is is also what you need to have willpower to refine yourself to be from them things that's going to stop you from being you. That's what you need. You need the power to do that. Your ways and actions must be understanding. It must be understood. Your ways and actions must be understood. So you can flex that power. And that power is cleaning yourself up to position yourself to reign as king or ruler. Again, today's mathematics is wisdom, understanding, all being born to power, refinement. Wisdom is the ways and actions which ones use to let their knowledge known. Understanding is the manifestation of one knowledge and wisdom. It is the best part, is to see things clearly for what they are and not what they perceive to be. Understanding is the black child. Power is the truth. Refinement is to clean yourself up physically and mentally, to refine yourself from doing the things that you shouldn't be doing. That is the true power. My name is Anthony GMATH WOMBLE. And you're now listening to my show, Styled by Poverty, the Rcast, my audio diary. I had a good night with y'all, man. I hope, I gave you some information. I hope that I built on some topics that I think that we need to be talking about, man. And next week, I should be having a guest. If not, I'm coming back as I usually do with real shit. Thank you all for tuning in. Peace.